Welcome back to the channel. Hope everybody is doing well. In the last video I showed you a little 10 bit driver set that I carry around in my tool bag. Considering the tool bag was out for that, I figured we may as well go through the rest of it and show you the rest of the tools that I carry. This is probably as close as I get to an everyday carry toolkit. It's the bag that I will take out with me to do routine maintenance on motors and panels, and also breakdowns and repairs. And this is heavy industrial plant that I work on, so you're predominantly looking at three-phase power circuits, motor starters, all the way up to a couple of 100 horsepower. I do work on high voltage as well. It does come with me for some of that work, but I would probably add extra bits and pieces into it to give me access to that kind of apparatus. For the low voltage work that I do, this kit bag will be accompanied usually with the U1461A there in the Vito Pro Pack MB2 bag. So I will put a list of what's in the toolkit up at the end of the video, and I'll give you a total price of what it would be to purchase all of this. The kit itself originally set up around about 2010, 2009, so we're approaching sort of like 12 years old on a lot of the items. Some of them have been replaced over the years. Some of the items are still quite old and are no longer available, so I've put the equivalents in the list. So the bag itself is a plain old tool bag. It's 310mm long, 190mm wide and 240mm high, but as you can see it's pretty much full up. So the first item that we have is my voltage tester and proving unit. I used to keep this in the bag, jumbled up with everything else, but it got tangled up and I've broken a few of them that way, so now I put it in its own little carry bag. This is the Fluke C30 bag, I believe, and inside it I have the Fluke PRV 240FS proving unit, the Fluke T110 voltage tester and continuity tester, and a multi-comp non-contact voltage stick. I have this one because it is ATEX approved, one of the ones out there that is. So this is okay. It is a bit of a squeeze to get everything in the bag, so it's not the ideal solution, but I'm reasonably happy with it. So I'll chuck him out the way. So in the rest of the bag we have pliers. All my pliers are NWS of various different ages. We've got a whole shed load of them. Now I don't usually carry these long nose pliers with me. I did purchase them. I don't get on with them too well or don't use them that much, so I very rarely carry them with me, but I did purchase them originally with this toolkit. So I'll come out the way. The ones I do carry with me are wire strippers at the end, the N-type wire strippers. A set of shears. These are 160mm shears, I believe. Small ones. In place of straight long nose, I carry these, and let's just stick them out of the way at the moment because they're a more recent addition. I have these bent long nose pliers. NWS refer to them as radio chassis pliers. I'm not sure why. I find these are a little bit more ergonomic to use, to get into wires. I can grab hold of wires and feed them into contactors or MCBs and keep my hand out of the way, and then go in with a screwdriver into the terminal, or just work a little bit from up above. I find they work a little bit better from the long nose pliers there, but I also find these ones work quite well as well. They're good at keeping your hand out of the way. These are slightly different to all the others in that these are the latest version, so the handles are slightly different on these. They have the little tether clips in them so that you can if you're working at height, which neither of these tools have. So that's those there. I carry a set of standard combinations with me. These are 180mm combinations. I think these are 200mm long long nose pliers. I think these are the 160s shears. And then a standard pair of NWS side cutters. These are their multi-purpose ones. They have a couple of stripping holes, 2.5 and 1.5, and they have the same for a crimp at the back of the jaw there. So that's all those out of the way. Let's get into spanners and so what else have we got here? So grip-wise, spanner-wise, I used to have a 9-inch adjustable spanner and I lost him, so I've replaced it with a set of these plier wrenches from Knipex. These are the 180mm Knipex plier wrenches. To be honest, I'm not a massive fan of them. I've found these to be quite finicky to set up, a little bit awkward to set up in comparison to an adjustable spanner. Admittedly, once you have set them up, they do hold their position a lot better, whereas an adjustable spanner can move, or often does move whilst it's in use. So yeah, they're okay. I'm a little bit indifferent to them. I'm not as mad at them as some people appear to be. Some people actually really love these, but yeah, I'm not an overly massive fan. Grip wise are the Bacos. These are the ratchet grips, so they will slide up with the thumb lever there and then hold their position. So yeah, had plenty of sets of these over the years, not because they keep breaking, but because people see them and nick them themselves. These are the 8224 Bacos, part number on them there. So yeah, I'm a fan of those ones. Standard Stanley knife, utility knife, nothing special about it. It's not a auto retract one. I do not get on with those at all. I find them a right pain for stripping armed cable and any cable in general when you've got to keep that pushed forward with your thumb. I find you lose control really of the knife and usually end up scoring the cable. This one, the spare blades can be kept in the handle here, although I don't have any of that at the moment. And then the actual blade replacement is on this yellow button here, but to do it you have to, it's locked now, but you have to push it down and push it right forward, and then you can unlock it and take the blade out. And it does as well when it's closed. You've got the strap cutter function within this as well. Screwdriver wise, let's take all them out. Screwdriver wise at the moment, so these are all CK screwdrivers. Left that one out. Apart from this, it's a Baco, and this one, that is a Facom unit. This is what I use really as a strike driver. It's not a proper strike driver. I've had this one years. So I think it's an 8mm. It's been snapped already and ground down, and it has the hex driver bit in there. So that's the one I bash about and abuse. Baco Posi 3 there, and then I have CK VDE Posi 2 and Posi 1. They're all VDEs. Then we have slotted 5.5, 4mm and a 2.5, and then finally just a little Stanley Phillips 0. What was it? No, it's a Posi, beg your pardon, it's a Posi 0. That's kind of been in my bag for ages. I used it a few times for specific stuff and hardly ever used it ever again. I've just never taken it out. So they're just two standard screwdrivers. These are all my VDE screwdrivers. I don't use these for live working. I have a completely different kit that's only ever used on live working and kept absolutely pristine. Having said that, these probably are due replacement soon. They're not the slim type. And these are old CK ones. They are not available anymore. They've updated their design. I think the Baco is current. You can still buy that one. So that's those there. Chuck them out the way. I do carry a 1/2-inch driver. This is the Zyklops. And obviously a little extension bar just there I've got. And then I carry with me 3 sockets. So I carry the 19, 17 and 13mm sockets. These are the Metrinch sockets, so they They don't grip on the corners. They have a special shape to them and grip on the flat surface of the head of the bolt or the nut. And they are equivalent, so you have 13mm, which is equivalent to a 1/2 inch there, and you have the 17mm here, which is equivalent to the 11/16, and the 19mm, which is 3/4. So a short little extension bar, and the Wera Zyklops ratchet here. Obviously alongside that I have my little 10 bit set that was in the last video, so if you haven't seen the last video, just pop them up. This is a little mini bit set, got a few little driver bits in there, a few little sockets, 5.5 up to 13, and then the little mini ratchet with a little extension piece underneath. So I use that for the smaller stuff, and this generally gets me into the larger stuff that's around. And I should have some spanners as well, so we do carry some ratchet spanners with us. There's another one around somewhere, there he is. So these are multi-ratchet spanners. They are Magnusson's ones, they're just for general DIY store, I think, from the UK. We've got 8, 10, 12, 13 there. We've got 16, 18, and 17 and 19. These are bought as a pair. They don't do this one with the 16 anymore. I think the 16 has been replaced with a 14mm one. But they're a double hedge ratchet, they are ratcheting. And you can change direction. And these heads here, obviously this is 16mm this side there's the 17mm there. So that's those there. And then I have a Ghidorah 10 to 13mm open-ended spanner. This is for HV switchgear. I have some bolts that are in tricky positions, mostly the 10mm one that I use to take them off with, so that's specifically for that, but obviously it's general purpose as well, should I need it. Got electronics pliers, and these are Knipex 120mm flush cutters, good for tie wraps as well, little plastic ones anyway, and then a little pair of snipe nose pliers. These are 130mm snipe nose pliers. I do occasionally work on electronic boards and replace components, so I do carry them around with me, can be useful at times. Let's have a look as well, ratchet wise. Those there, let's kind of, still in the mechanical side, aren't we? So, set of Wera. This is the 950 SBKL9 ball drivers, hex bits, or Allen key ball drivers, whatever you call them. These ones here aren't available anymore. They are replaced with a similar set that have the multicoloured sleeves on them, as opposed to these are just the greens. These are the hex plus ones, I called them. So I have them. Let's go to the mechanical side. Ratchets. I have here a Weidmuller PZ6 Roto crimper for ferrule crimpers. This head flips through 90. It'll only do the positions in 90, so it's either this position or this position, but it does do a full 360. But if you get it half locked like that, it doesn't close up. So they are fully automatic. They do from 0.14 to 6mm squared ferrule crimps. Nice little crimper, very good for accessing tight areas, but boy is it expensive. This is the most expensive tool I carry in this bag. It's even more expensive than the combination of the fluke tester and proving unit together. So yeah, good tool, but very expensive. The insulated crimpers, ratchet crimpers, they used to be Faken ones. I think I broke those, so these are just a no brand ones. You get them from Amazon or eBay or something like that. I don't crimp an awful lot. It's mostly for repairing wires and stuff like that, so these are adequate for my needs. I do have other ones in other toolkits. I just need a pair just for the basic tool bag. So that's those there. What else have we got? We have a little mini pry bar and a little heel tow bar as well. These actually came out of sets. They're both from Clark. Clark is a general tool shop predominantly around the motor industry, I would say in DIY motor industry in the UK. They're bought from a set and I just take them out of the set, the small ones, so I can use him for aligning up motor lids, put them in there and line up the bolts when you're trying to get the lids back on. Some of them are a little bit heavy, and then I have a little pry bar as well for prying lids off like that when they're stuck against the seal or the gasket. To work my way around, I can use that in conjunction with my big screwdriver as well. Panel key, you've seen that before in previous videos. I use that for getting to the panels. Usually it's in my overalls pocket, but since the demise of that job, it's come out of them, and those in my little bag at this moment in time. So that's that. Tape measure, didn't get an awful lot of use, just an old Draper tape measure, 3 meters. It's my needs. Say, to get a vast amount of use. I have a little fiberglass pen. I use this mostly for cleaning contactors and the surface of contactors. You get these from RS amongst other places, and I carry with them some spares bristles as well. Loads of spare bristles actually, don't I? Yeah. I carry them to go with it. And a set of crimpers, so some red tab crimps that I use a fair bit of, and blue tab crimps. They're quite popular for the terminals that I work on. Let's keep around it. Oh, you have a 12mm Allen key. That's a special again as well for working on some of the high voltage stuff that I need that for. 1/2-inch drive. And we have a little cleaning brush. This is a little grease brush, I think. Just a general purpose brush, just used for dusting down panels and relays and the like as required when you're doing the maintenance. It's just a loose crimp. A set of keys, panel keys. Got a secondary panel slot key there, but these are others, just a general bonus and Sorel and CES. Just gets into general panels. Most things are pretty much well locked up on the sites that I go to, so good set of keys usually gets me in all the disc boards. And then finally I have a little tobacco tin. I have a little tobacco tin, I should say. Just keeps odds and sods in there. These are little emergency light fitting screws. They take the screws out of the lens of them. Lamp changers for switches, push buttons. A little magnet in there, you should see it. Fire alarm tester. I haven't got a clue what that's for. That's a little spacer of some sort, isn't it? Yeah, obviously made that up for something that I've completely forgotten about now. Okay. Oh well, a smaller lamp changer. Again, these get into light fittings. Both those little keys for that. Even smaller lamp changer. They're usually for wedge type lamps as opposed to the little bayonets that those other two fit. Bit of French chalk. Spare terminal. Crocodile clip, have no idea how he's made his way in there. And then this is a little reset key for dial indicators on transformers for temperature indicators. Sets the maximum indicator. So that's that there. I believe that's pretty much everything that I carry around with me as a bag. It's pretty much empty other than a safety padlock in there. There's a few little yellow crimps. Yes, the pockets have little crimps in them. I don't really keep much on the outside. Spare fuse for something. That's probably been in there years as well. So I don't really use the external pockets. The only thing that is missing is the torch. Where did I put the torch? Okay, the panic is over. We found our torch again. This is an Olight unit, the H2R there. Has its little clip on there. Right-angled lantern. Magnetic base, so it will clamp to stuff as well. And then it will also sit in this little headband that's also magnetic, so you can use it as a head torch or in hand, or clip it to a panel or something like that. So yeah, that's the torch I usually have with me. Okay, so there you have it. That's my general toolkit I use for industrial work. Pretty similar to a lot of electricians out there. I guess the one big difference that you'll see with mine being more geared up for motors is the socket sets, the ratchet and spanners as well. I make much more use of them than a lot of electricians out there that are geared more towards commercial / domestic works. This is the list of the whole toolkit, 44 items you see in there, which isn't strictly true because I've counted the Allen key set as one item, so that is actually 9 items, so that would actually be a 52-piece tool set overall. You can see the complete price, £1,359 give or take. So yeah, a fair bit of money in that lot there. They're obviously a mixture of good quality tools along with some of the cheaper ones. You see item 17 there, that Weidmuller ferrule crimper. That's a serious price, £250 nowadays. As I say, that's more expensive than all that Fluke proven unit tester and bag. Yeah, pretty similar price for those there. Yeah, the rest of it, what comes after that? The rest of it's sort of around about, you get a couple at the 50-60 quid mark, but then it's kind of around at the £20-30 mark for the rest of the majority of stuff. So that's it for this video. Appreciate you watching, hope you found it useful, and I'll see you again in the next one.